I would say, though, in terms of anyone trying to get started, I would say, pick maybe 2 topics to begin with, and maybe say, today, spend today, you can adjust this, today, tomorrow, one day, another day. Sort of, you might just say 30 minutes or 20 minutes, and with no distractions and no real filter, just sort of write or type. And I'll be honest, I did this at the very beginning with my dissertation, and I went to this writing workshop. As I would just sit there, and sometimes I would write, I can't think of anything to write. I feel like everything I write sounds stupid. But sometimes writing that you don't know what to say can sort of get things going, because then you could say, well, I guess I can think of this. And it's really more about trying to get over that initial hurdle of, again, kind of judging one's own writing too much. I mean, some people are a little too sloppy and they don't judge it at all and they're careless, but I don't think that's going to be you all. Pick one topic and then try it with a couple of topics, because this way, what you don't want to do is try to spend a lot of time developing an essay in response to one prompt and then realize it's not working, and then you have to go back and change it. So this would be a way to kind of, see how you're feeling. And I don't think you would hopefully you wouldn't have to continue doing this with more prompts, but maybe 3 max, and then see if, okay, in the course of making those of writing, of sort of jotting things down, or just kind of freely writing, you can you might realize, oh, here are some things I can, here's one main point, here's one thing I learned, and then here's another thing I learned. If we're picking the obstacles, you might, for example, you might find that you can write for a whole page about the actual situation. And then you realize, okay, I can turn around and summarize that. Here was the challenge. And I can summarize that in 2 or 3 sentences, because you don't want to spend forever talking about, just summarizing what happened. So you can condense that later on. And then, when it says, how did it affect you? You might write another page about that and realize, when you look back, okay, I can condense this down into a paragraph. What effect it had on me, and then what did you learn from the experience? And again, your first thought might be, I don't know what I learned from this experience. I guess I learned I needed to study more for tests in advance, and then I guess I learned this. And then you start thinking about it, and you might realize there was something else that you learned that wasn't initially obvious. But again, I think is to not be afraid to sort of make a mess when you're first writing, in the sense of, when I say make a mess, don't worry about grammar and punctuation and all of that stuff, and don't worry about even the structure when you're just getting started. I think where we are time-wise, mid-September, most schools' applications are due mid-October, something like that, I would imagine. Some point in October. And so you still have plenty of time to sort of work through these phases, but try to, write without, self-censoring, to put it, a certain way. And then, again, because I think, in terms of writing, the hardest thing to do is to sit there with a blank page and pretend that you're writing the final draft. Because I have had this happen so many times, where I type a sentence, and then when I used to try to write that way, and then I would just go, delete it. That sounds stupid.